Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday meditation gathering. I'm so glad you're all here to share this time. Today we have kironJ, who's going to lead us in meditation, and then we'll have 20 minutes of silence. And after that, uh, we'll turn it over for sharing. Over to you, kironJ.
Thank you very much, Dan, and very beautiful to be in this gathering again. Thank you for the invitation. We're going to have a very brief self-inquiry to lead us into the silence today. 4 questions coming out of lesson 287. You are my goal, my Father, only you. So would you like to close your eyes? And let's open our minds to the Holy Spirit together. And let's welcome these questions and not rush for answers. Simply let the questions be there and be willing to receive the Spirit's answers as and when they come. Where would I go but heaven? What could be a substitute for happiness? What gift could I prefer before the peace of God? What treasure would I seek and find and keep that can compare with my true identity? Shall we be willing to remember our true identity and realize that this is the treasure that brings happiness and peace? And we'll go into the 20-minute silence now.
Open your eyes and come back into the room. We have 20 minutes left for sharing your reflections and your questions. If you'd like to speak, raise your hand or use the reactions button at the bottom of the screen, and I'll invite you to take yourself off mute. If you'd like to ask kironJ a question or comment with confidentiality, put your message in the chat function at the bottom of the screen, and I'll read it out. Who'd like to share? Jim, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, kironJ. I just want to say thank you very much. I found that extremely peaceful, a very deep meditation, and nothing that came out took me away from it, which is very unusual. All sorts of things that came up that I thought would give me, a better peace, or more enjoyable peace, or more exciting peace, whatever you want to call it. But this was, just this really deep peace that nothing could touch. So the words did their job. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jim. Yes. It's what the words are pointing to, isn't it? That's important.
Yes.
And your mind able to follow that pointer, open in the direction that the words are showing us.
Yes.
Yeah.
The old habitual ideas were coming up of things that might be more interesting, and things that might give me a different form of peace anyway. Things which are related to the world of some kind. And on this occasion, this time anyway, none of them took me away. I saw them, but none of them took me away from that peace that we were pointed to. So, thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Jim. Yeah. Before you all joined, we were talking about the Greece festival that I've just been to. I was a speaker there. And on the surface, that looks like that could give much. It was all idyllic surroundings, perfect temperature, lovely people, good food, wonderful teachings, good connections. And yet none of that, looking at it at face value, a worldly value, it means anything, can give anything. And it's a complete ego trap when we think holidays, sunshine, anything in this world can give us true peace and happiness. They can reflect it for sure, but it's so important to be clear what's a reflection and what is the truth. And it is only the truth, our true identity, that can give us this unshakable peace and true happiness. So.
Norman, would you like to share? Take yourself off mute.
Yes, thank you very much, Karen. It always amazes me, these meetings, how it applies to me. You went through the list of, do I want this, do I want that, do I want the other thing, or do I want peace? And just yesterday, I opened the course at lesson 182, and it was called I Will Be Still an Instant and Go Home. And a couple of weeks ago, I had a vision, and I sank deep into myself with a deep dungeon with no bars, but the door was open, and there was a young prince in it, and there was light and warmth, but the prince didn't want to come out. The door was open, and I didn't feel like going in. I've been playing on my mind, why will the prince not come out, and why will I not go in? Seeing the dungeon door was open. But then the more I read the lesson 182, the Christ that is in me, he is innocent and pure, and won't come out into a bad mind, if you like, or a bad word. And it seemed amazing that the two lessons are tied up so much. Do I want anything the world can offer, or do I just want innocence and peace? And I just have to say thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, Norman. That's just such a wonderful image of sitting in a dungeon, in a prison, and the door's open and the light's there, and we stay in the dungeon, we stay in the prison, because we think there's value there and that we do not deserve the light. And yet the Course is saying again and again, this is not true. Just step outside of your dungeon, and then you'll see there never was a dungeon, there never was a prison. It's only ever been light. But until we're willing to step outside where we seem to be, even if it seems nice, then we'll never find that out for ourselves. Yeah, so thank you very much for your sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And mentioning such a beautiful, beautiful lesson, 182. I will be still an instant and go home. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I was looking at it the wrong way, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to share. Okay, Dennis and then Teresa.
When you read the questions out, I thought there's no answer to those questions. And when I went into the meditation, it was truth is, and then God is.
Yeah. And then we cease to seem to speak. Yes. Indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Teresa?
Yeah, thank you, kironJ. I used all my little thoughts rumbling around within the meditation, and I thought, okay, this is what I'll use for my meditation, all my concerns, the concerns that I have about my brother's health and my sister's health, and now my other sister's health, and then my own aging. I'm thinking, well, it's just a little bit longer down the line that my sisters are anyway, that's all. And I thought, none of that is actually the truth. None of it is the truth. And so the meditation and the words, and I even realized that the words, were nothing, but it just gave me the experience of peace instead of concerning myself about the body and everybody else's body. So thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. It seems such a natural thing to do in the human experience, to be concerned. A sibling, somebody very important, and they're aging, they're sick, whatever the situation is. And we think it's almost our duty to be concerned about them. It's the right thing to do. And yet, A Course in Miracles is teaching the opposite. Indeed, it is concern about bodies, and bodies are a block to truth. It's not helpful. It's not truly natural at all. And it is a temptation to resist and see it as ego, heavily disguised ego as concern. That's very lovely. Be concerned about. And it's not. It's actually an attack. You're not seeing the Christ in them. You are seeing an aging body. And that's our own mind's decision for separation and illusions. Yes. So Yeah, very, very lovely, Teresa. Thank you so much for sharing it. And I'd just like to put in a footnote to that, that when we have this concern about ourselves or about anyone, this is a treasure of the mind. You know, the inquiry was saying, and looking before the silence was saying that our true identity is the treasure. Truth is the treasure. But whatever we're thinking about, you know, the sundry thoughts, Jim's other versions of peace, whatever it happens to be, at that moment, the mind sees that as treasure. And even when it's fear or anger or something we think, I just don't want that, we are quite capable of opening to a wider state of mind that realizes that's a mind treasure. That fear, that illness, that anxiety, that anger, the mind is treasuring because that's the experience. And in this way, we come back to the power of the mind. We see what the mind is doing. We're no longer deceived by being a person in the world experiencing anger, experiencing fear, in the relationship conflict, whatever it is. We're no longer that identity. We have come back to be the dreamer of the dream, which is a mighty step on the way to being the Christ in our awareness. And being the dreamer of the dream, the deliberate dreamer of the dream, in all its details, the Course says, whatever we think as people we don't like, it is a chosen detail by the mind. And if we can hang out there and ask to be shown by the Holy Spirit the truth of that, we will see it. And then we have the power to choose a different dream. Not the form of it, but the content of it. We can choose a peaceful dream, a dream that reflects truth. And then we watch as the form does indeed reflect that. Yeah, so, yeah. Thank you, Teresa.
Catherine, take yourself off mute.
Thank you, kironJ, and thank you for the shares as well. I want to ask you something you may not remember the answer to, but I was in a workshop with you online, and you did a kind of sound bath where you gave 3 phrases to 3 people, and which I found very interesting and helpful, and I can't remember one of them. So it was, it's guilt projected out, nothing has happened, and I wonder if you remember what the third one was.
Oh.
See, it's fine.
It may well have been, and we're all innocent. Well, that comes to me to say now. I'm not sure. That was the forgiveness intensive that the Miracle Network hosted a few years ago. I remember it very clearly. I can see all the smiles as everybody was in that bath. Yeah,
I like that one. Thank you.
innocent.
It's not landing with me that it was the actual one, but I really like it and it's helpful. So thank you.
So that's good for today then, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it might have had the word, you know, only the love is real or something like that, but they're the same thing, aren't they? So
Yes. There is a recording. It's in the network shop, online shop. I think there's a recording of it if you wanted to revisit that workshop. Yeah. But thank you for asking.
Norman?
Yes, thank you very much. I was woken up this morning by the noise of my front doorbell going, and it's happened before. And of course, there was nobody at the doorbell, there was nobody there, but it was just a wake-up call. And I thought, I wonder what this is for, and I went back to sleep again. But then when I woke up, it was a bit late, and I was having a cup of tea, and I thought, oh, it's the course this morning. So I rushed in and got it all going. And I'm really, really pleased I did. You know, that wake up call was saying, do not miss this. So and it's very, very true.
Right.
It's wonderful. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you.
Indeed. Thank you. Indeed. Thank you, Norman. Yeah.
Who'd like to share?
Well, I can say something if nobody is inspired to share just at the moment. I was reading a Facebook post this morning about the Nobel Prize for Physics in 2022. And the gist of it is that this research shows there is no external world. And there was a great long paper, which I didn't understand at all following, but this was the gist, that they are proving that if you don't see it, it's not there. So the classic, is the moon there when we don't look at it? No, it's not. Course in Miracles. No, there's no moon there, whether we look at it or not. So I just felt inspired to bring this as another symbol of the collective mind awakening to the fact that there really is no external world. It's even popping up in physics now. And of course, the Nobel Prize is the flagship, it creates a lot of, or makes a lot of publicity. I mean, quantum physics has been saying such things for quite some time, but this feels like another step into general awareness in the world that there is no world. And of course, that's seismic, that's just rattling every single cage. Yeah, so bringing that to our attention, that the one mind, and we seem to be the fragments of the one mind, the one dreaming mind, is really waking up. When it comes to Nobel Prize winning, that there's no world, things are shifting. At least that was my experience. In my little world, I read Facebook this morning, and that's what I read. May or may not be helpful to you.
Was that based on scientific evidence?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Rigorous. Yes. Pages and pages and pages of explanations and things. But yes, they are proving it through rigorous scientific methods that there's no external reality. Don't ask me how, but they are. Yes. Yeah. Makes me smile. Yeah.
Dennis, take yourself off mute.
Many moons ago, I belonged to a group, and they used to say, what you give attention to, you give life to.
Yes, it's just, yes. And what you give attention to grows is another way of saying it that I have heard. Yes. So if we give attention to an outside world, it becomes real to us. If we don't give attention in the sense that this is real, then it doesn't seem real to us. We become lucid dreamers. We're aware this is a dream. And it becomes much more shadowy and not real. And our mind is much more interested in the more abstract sense of light and presence and peace. That's where the attention wants to be. And then there's an awareness of the body seems to go here, do that, speak this. But it's not accorded reality at all. This is where we're all going in our minds.
The scientists catch up with the mystic eventually.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we've come to the end of our time together. Take yourself off mute and show your appreciation to kironJ. Thank you, kironJ. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
kironJ.
much.
Thank you,
so
kironJ.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Beautiful.
you, everyone.